All right, let's talk about the Florida Gators, the 22nd ranked nationally Gators after a rough start with that loss against Utah have come back in a strong way. But it looks like what Napier has done, and he's gotten a lot of heat on him, and some of it deserved, but it looks like he's making a smart move in one key direction. And we've got a report that highlights exactly what they're doing, and it's building for the future. In fact, if you want to throw up the report, this is from Fansided. We'll jump right into it. All right, Florida football is undergoing a youth movement in year two under Billy Napier, and we've seen tons of new faces in major roles so far this year. On both sides of the ball, young guys have stepped up and had impact moments, which is refreshing to see after years of seniority bias on the depth chart. PFF, Pro Football Focus, for people who aren't familiar, confirmed what we've been saying when they released their top 10 Gators so far this year based on their site's grade. 6 freshmen occupy spots in the top 10, along with 2 sophomores who have been all over the field. And if you want to go ahead and flip to the other image, these are the grades right here. And again, you can see freshman Eugene Wilson, sophomore Devin Moore, freshman TJ Searcy, and the list goes on from there. A lot of young guys on the top 10 list of the highest graded performers. PFF grades all the players from all the games. So we're seeing here that the Florida Gators are undergoing a youth movement. Seems to be a really smart move by my part. Miles, I'm curious what your thoughts are on how Napier has structured this program and how it will continue to progress going forward. But before we get into that, Florida fans, so far 3-1, kind of feel okay about where you are sitting right now. Give us the one standout, the one young player that's really impressed you so far this season, and put them in the comment section below. But Miles, let me throw it over to you. What are your thoughts on this report and just everything going on with Florida right now?
Yeah, Nick, I think this is great for Florida. And this just shows Billy Napier knows what he is doing. He has built this team. We talked all offseason about the big moves they were making. Florida was making a lot of splashes in the recruiting game, getting a lot of future guys. And I think this just shows a testament to it. Early on, tough game versus Utah to start the season, but they've been rolling since. You beat Tennessee, very good team there as well. I think Florida is showing they know what they're doing. They have a plan. And these young guys, this is going to be a good team for quite some time, starting out with such a young base. Because sometimes you think about it, Nick, you get a good freshman in there, they sit on the bench a couple years, they feel like they're not going to play, they transfer out. You get these really solid players in there early, build your base with all these young guys, you're going to have a really great team for the next 2, 3 years. I think this is a great way to do it. And I think this is something a lot of coaches don't do. You don't hear about too many Alabama freshmen going out, making too many waves, especially not like, 7, 8 guys already that are like big time starters on this team. I think Billy Napier has a really great idea here. And I think this is something we don't see a lot, especially in the SEC side of things in football. I think it could be really cool for this Florida team because maybe this year isn't necessarily the year we're thinking Florida college football playoff. Could be, but probably not. But we talked about next year, the year after that. This is going to be a team that is a force, has a lot of young playmakers that are going to be big time veterans, have a lot of big time experience, probably a couple big time bowl game wins under their belt at that point. This team seems like it could be very dangerous come 2024, 2025.
Yeah, and it's one of those things when you're structuring a program, right? People forget about this is that you have to look out and look at your competition, the landscape, and figure out when you want to peak, right? This is one of the problems that programs like Texas A&M have had. If you talk about an SEC rival in the SEC West, they've tried to literally go to toe to toe and beat Alabama and Georgia when Alabama and Georgia are at their peaks. And you just can't do it. But what you can do is when they have down years, when they're no longer at their peaks, that's when you can rise up, overtake them, and then potentially win national titles. And then once you reach the mountaintop, then you get all the top recruits and top transfers, and then it's all about holding it. But you got to get there first. And the way you do it is you have to wait for them to slip. Right now, this is not the year for any team in the SEC East to go toe-to-toe with Georgia. It just isn't. Whether you're Florida, whether you're Tennessee, whether you're South Carolina, whoever, it doesn't matter. Georgia is still too good. But if you wait maybe a year or two when they're starting Dylan Raiola, true freshman or something like that, that may be an opportunity, right? When they've got a lot of young guys playing on their own, when all the veterans from these championship classes, when Brock Bowers is gone, players like that, that's an opportunity. So what do you do if you're Florida? You give a lot of young guys playing experience now, so that way when that opportunity opens up, you're ready to take advantage of that because all those young guys are going to be seasoned vets by then with a lot of big time games under their belt. I really love what Florida's doing here because you look at a lot of other programs, they do everything they possibly can to win every snap they can. this year. And, I understand why you play to win the game. But the reality is sometimes the best way to win a lot of games is to put yourself to win a lot of games in the future, to build a program the right way. And when you start winning a lot of games, then you get all the best recruits and transfers. And then suddenly it's easy to win football, but you have to get there. And the way you can get there is waiting for your opportunity and preparing to take advantage of it. That's exactly what Florida is doing here. And I really love it from what Billy Napier is doing from his strategy. And there's also one other added benefit too. It's going to help you in the recruiting game. Imagine calling up every other recruit the SEC is going for, all your SEC rivals, and say, hey, listen, we play freshmen here at Florida. Do you want to go somewhere else and sit on the bench for 2 years, or do you want to come and play right away? There's a lot of big-time recruits. A lot of these 4 and 5 stars would be like, yeah, I kind of want to play right away, and they're going to go to Florida because of it.